Okay, sorry everyone for the delay. Thank you for bearing with the class that was in here before. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Sasha. I'm going to be teaching this class in virtual reality along here with Dr. Lane. Everyone say hi, Dr. Lane. Thank you for joining. So if you didn't see when I started up my computer, I also turned on OBS when I was doing this. For those of you who aren't gamers, OBS is a streaming service. Everything I'm saying today is streamed live on YouTube, so if for some reason you don't make it to class, not that I won't notice, there's like 20 of you, you can see it online, so that's a good little note. So today is it's syllabus week. Today we're just kind of going through what this class is, what it's not, what our goals are, what we hope to accomplish over the next 13 weeks, and then kind of get a sense of what everyone in the class hopes to get out of it. So, gonna dive right into it. So, two terms that you're gonna hear a lot over the next semester are VR and AR, virtual and augmented reality. So, people throw those terms around a lot. If you like looking at Iron Man, he's over there on the left. The difference between them is kind of well-defined right now, but the further we get into this kind of concept of understanding the technology behind virtual and augmented reality, the more blurred those lines are going to become. The basic difference here and what you'll see in the hardware and the technology that exists right now is that the concept of augmented reality allows you to perceive the world around you with assistive technologies or kind of the same graphical techniques that are used in virtual reality, with the exception that in virtual reality there's no correspondence to the real world. As I said, with things like the HoloLens and some tools and really awesome stuff that we're going to see throughout this class, those lines are becoming very, very blurry and will soon be non-existent. Okay, so who's going to be teaching? Who is everyone? I'm Sasha. I will have, I'm a senior in computer science. I have office hours right now, Tuesday, Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. That is a lot of office hours. If you look down the list, there's plenty of time where you can go get help. So going down the list, we have Dr. Lane, Trung, sitting here in the middle, also has office hours. The TAs and co-instructors should have 2 hours a week, so you can feel free to come to any of us for help. Emily, also right here in the front, and Gian. Is Gian here somewhere? So, no Gian today, but basically the way this is going to work is I'm going to be doing the majority of the lectures in class. Trung will be doing a few, and we'll be sharing some. So that's kind of the main instructional dialogue. Emily and Gian will be there to help you with assignments, and we will all be there on Thursdays, with the exception of today being a Thursday, to kind of help out with working in class. And we'll talk a little bit more about what this class structure will look like in a second. Okay, so kind of going on to that. Today is a Thursday. It's the first day of class, so this is a little bit off on the normal pace of what we'll be doing. But ordinarily, Tuesdays will be an in-class lecture in this room, where we'll be kind of going through the basics and the materials that you're going to be using in your projects and your assignments, whereas Thursdays will be kind of in-class work sessions. So everyone in this room is going to get some kind of access to this SIG lab. That is the graphics lab. With that access comes great responsibility. If you're in that room, we expect you to be doing graphics-related work, and we will get you the card access, and you'll be like, oh, my card opens a door that doesn't usually open. It's cool. Don't abuse it, because then you'll lose it, and you have to knock to get in, and it's a pain in the ass. So don't do that, please. But yeah, that's what Thursdays are going to be like. Thursdays will be in there. TAs and I will be there to kind of help guide exactly what we're doing, and what we'll be doing is essentially implementing what we covered in class on the Tuesday before. So Tuesdays are lectures, Thursdays kind of flipped classroom. I'm sure you've heard that term before. So yeah, we're going to try that. As you see on the screen, this is a first run. This is the first time we're teaching a class in VR. This is the first time Penn is really experimenting with a class solely in VR. Dr. Lane's normal game design class does have some VR elements, but it is an addendum to kind of adding to the concept of games. The class is focusing not on games, but on the VR. So bear with us. There's going to be some kinks. There may be a couple of issues. So please just work with us. We're going to solve, get through everything we can together, but keep that in mind. Brief logistic information. Most communication will be done through Slack, penvr.slack.com. Sign up there, please. If you have a cs.upenn.edu email address, it will automatically let you register. If you have problems, please let me know. And secondarily, up here we have this, where is my cursor? This Penn VR link. Assignments and whatnot are on Canvas, but some basic course information is here. There's a schedule, You can see what the TAs are doing each day, what the class is going to be. There are links to everything that we're going to be using to communicate. So GitHub, GitHub Classroom, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Slack and Canvas. The first tab here is the Lectures tab. You can see what we're covering in class, a link to the YouTube live stream if you're watching it live, or recorded if you're watching recorded. And finally, assignments on the right. We'll talk about that in a second. So now my present, there we go. Okay, so the basic kind of makeup of the way this course is going to be structured is we're first going to talk about, basic logistic information, what is VR, and graphics fundamentals. So for those who aren't graphics majors or haven't studied graphics before, there's going to be a huge learning curve. Like, we're going to try to pack in 90 minutes of essentially glossing over 2 semesters worth of information. So if you're confused, that's going to be, like, expect to be confused. We're going to try to make it as simple as possible and go in terms of breadth and not in terms of depth. So what does that mean? You may learn things like what an octree is, what a KD tree is, what basics graphics concepts are, but I will never ask you to implement them. So you're going to have to either take for granted or understand that there's going to be a lot of low-level things happening that you may not understand fully, quite frankly, because we only have 2 weeks to cover this stuff. So we're going to cover what's necessary to learning VR, but not graphics for the sake of graphics. Moving on from there, we have Three.js. So Three.js is a JavaScript library that uses OpenGL and basically provides a nice JavaScript-y wrapper around the OpenGL kind of subset and language. It's not really a language, it's more like a framework. But what Three.js will allow us to do is to use technologies that I'm sure everyone in this room has seen before. Like, if you haven't seen JavaScript and you're not a freshman, I'd be really curious to see why. So JavaScript is the underlying language behind every website that you will ever see in the front end. And basically what this will let us do is run VR applications through a technology called WebVR right out of Chrome and Firefox. So you can like build something in JavaScript, put on a headset, and then you're done. That's awesome. You'll learn like later in this course how much is abstracted away from you in terms of the underlying technology that makes that possible. But we're starting with Three.js because it's a really easy kind of guide your way into VR without going in, jumping in the deep end right away. After that, we're going to be going into Unreal Engine. So who here has not heard of Unreal Engine 4? Raise your hand. Okay, so a couple. Unreal Engine 4 is like the, how do I say this, go-to AAA quality game engine that is used by both studios and individuals to make kind of, if you're an individual, an indie title, and if you're a studio, common games like, I think Mass Effect was made in Unreal Engine, also Unreal Tournament. Point is, it's a game engine that delivers you a huge breadth and depth of power, but it's all free, it's open source, you pay them if you make money, stuff like that. So we're going to be teaching that in class. I could spend like a year lecturing on Unreal Engine. There is a lot to cover, so again, it's one of those things where we're going to try to cover as much as possible, but only what is necessary to do VR-related work, not necessarily what you need to know to make a fully like developed RPG with storytelling and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what we're doing on Unreal Engine. Also, Trung worked at Epic, who makes Unreal, so like we're lucky to have Trung in this class because he knows so much and like worked on the actual engine code. So, yeah. So last big thing is the capstone project. So with Three.js and with Unreal Engine, we're going to be assigning projects that will last between 2 and 3 weeks, I think, depending on which one we're doing. And those projects will be guided. So they will be like instructions on, maybe the first one is a passive experience. So something where you're kind of almost like living or experiencing a movie, but you won't actually be interacting with things. And the second Unreal project will be like an active one where you're actually going to be touching and moving things and interacting with the environment. But the third and final capstone project is where you're going to be really able to just like let your mind spin free. So you're going to make teams of 3 or 4, I believe, and then work basically with us mentoring you and working with you for, I think we have a month or 3 weeks budget at the end of this class where like that is what we really want you to succeed in. This should be something that you can use for your demo reel or for your resume, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this is going to be a pretty awesome project and a great opportunity to spend literally like all of the work you dedicate to this class will be that project at the end. So it's going to be really cool. Any questions on this stuff so far? Sorry, I've been getting over a cold, so apologies for the water and for the cough. The last thing on this slide is just demos, production, and retrospective. So the last week of class, we'll be demoing our final projects. That's just what that time is budgeted for. Okay, so this is a bit of reiteration, but this is not a graphics class, and this is not a game design class. Those are two concepts that we're going to be using and kind of borrowing technology from to explore virtual reality, but you should not expect to master those two concepts along the way. Those are just things that we're adding to. So the third bullet point up there is a blur from the course syllabus. We're going for breadth, and we're going to try to introduce everyone in this room to a bunch of different technologies so that you can pick and you can choose which ones are your favorite and where to go with them. Okay, so student expectations. Everyone, read that bullet point, the first one, and read it again and again and again. If you're here, I expect you to be here because you want to be. This is not a requirement. This is not really going to, like, you know, it's not 371, it's not 380. This is not a computer science requirement. What that means is there will be no midterm and no final exam, but I will expect, and the TAs will expect, a lot from you on your projects. So this is a full credit class. It's 568. It's master's level. This will not be a cakewalk. So what my hope is that if everyone in here is willing and kind of motivated to learn, this should be fun, but it's going to be a lot of work at the same time, so be ready. Second bullet point is also pretty important here. We're using bleeding edge technology. It's going to be buggy. There are going to be snags, and there's going to be stuff that doesn't work for reasons that you may not know at first. So don't let that discourage you. Unreal Engine and 3JS can both do really funky things. Just something to take for granted, and we'll work through them as they come. But the documentation is not amazing, and it's definitely going to be something to keep in mind along the way. So yeah, projects are done in teams. Only on the first one will you be working alone. That bullet point is a little bit incorrect. With that said, everything is going to be submitted and done through GitHub and GitHub Classroom. If you have not seen what those two are, let me get out of this. GitHub Classroom is an extension over GitHub that basically lets you submit assignments. I guess Pen's Wi-Fi is going slow. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so yeah, everything is done through GitHub, but by that same token, everything you guys submit is going to be public at first. If someone has, qualms with submitting their work publicly or having it available, let me know and we can consider doing private repositories, but that means that you guys can see each other's work. Like, please don't cheat. You won't get anything out of this class if you copy someone's code. And, not only will that not do anything for you, but if you copy someone's code and you cheat on an assignment, you will zero that assignment automatically, but you will probably also fail the class. So don't do it. Yeah, other thing, if something goes wrong with your team, or if something is wrong with your version control, if you're having trouble with Git, if you're not gelling together, speak up early and speak up often. Don't wait until the last day and tell me, my teammate didn't do crap. It doesn't do anything for anybody. It's very important to get that stuff out of the way early. Okay, so kind of talked about this already, so I'm not going to go through it again. 3 projects, 2 small written assignments before the first project. We'll talk about that in a second. And the grading. So projects are 80%. The first 2 written assignments, one of which is literally just install this software and fill out this form, and a homework on basic graphics, so vector math, transformations, all of that. That is the second assignment. The graphics one will go out on Tuesday. The first written survey is due on Tuesday, so you have 4 days. It's really shouldn't take you longer than 20 minutes, but we need to get that done as soon as possible. And the last part is class participation. So there is a Slack channel. That Slack channel shouldn't only be used for saying, I have a problem with this homework, help me fix it. If you find some new technology, if you see something out there that's new to VR that could benefit this class, please post about it. This is supposed to be, apart from this first day where I'm lecturing, it's supposed to be a discussion. I can learn from you guys and the TAs can learn from you guys as much as you can learn from us. So please help us make that possible. Okay, so this may seem a little bit like kindergarten, and I know it sounds silly, but I want everyone in this room to first introduce yourself, say what year you are, say why you're in this class, and say kind of what excites you the most. I know I sent out a lot of surveys already, but this is going to be good for everyone. So, Ellen, go for it.
Hi everyone, I'm Ellen. I'm a senior studying digital media design. I'm in this class, well, trying to be in this class because I am really interested in VR storytelling, and also I'm also interested in bringing some AR and VR applications into theater, like musical theater. Yeah.
So I'm going to Emily, you guys can skip because you're TAs.
I'm Christian. I'm a junior in computer science. I'm interested in this class. Like, I want to take this class. I'm really interested in VR applications in consumer products and like how VR is going to change the way we do things like retail and shopping experiences.
My name is Vish. I'm also a junior in computer science. I'm super excited to learn VR, mainly because I just love making cool things. And like nothing is as cool as VR. Especially if you see them in hackathon projects and stuff, it's like super exciting. A lot of possibilities. It's gonna be fun.
Hi, I'm Kunal. I'm a sophomore. When I first came to Penn, I really wanted to do D&D, but chose to do just computer science, and I was really interested in the art part of bringing that to technology. So I felt like this was a really cool spot to bring that together. One project that I'm working on right now, or want to like pursue, is like bringing VR to the Penn Aerospace Club. I just like really like the applications of that, and also like film and animation and stuff like that. Just, it's really cool.
I'm Natasha. I'm a junior in computer science, and why I like this class? Well, I played around with a few different like Oculus apps and stuff, and I found it really interesting how people are taking platforms that have existed outside VR for like so long and converting something that's incredibly accessible and just very cool to play around with. I think it'd be nice to be outside of things and actually develop something.
Hi guys, I'm Carolina. I'm a junior in CS, and I'm in this class because I think VR games are really cool.
I'm Alex. I'm a sophomore in SIS, and I take this class because I guess my main motivation is I was super interested in computer vision and seeing how that integrated with like AR stuff and now VR as well. I like making cool things. So.
Hi, I'm DJ. I'm a sophomore in D&D, and I'm in this class because VR sounds so interesting and exciting, and just have to learn more.
I'm Davin. I'm a senior in D&D, and I haven't used VR before, and I'm always jealous of everyone using it in the SIG lab. So I just want to build off what I've learned in the past 4 years here and make cool things.
I'm Ed. I'm a senior. I first became really interested in VR when I was at Facebook. I was like their prized beta tester because I'm so sensitive to VR motion sickness. They brought me in like 3 or 4 times a week. I threw up so much. So I'm really excited to explore that.
You want to share it with everyone else, right? I'm Luke. I'm a senior in computer science. Interested in kind of art and interactive experiences with VR.
I'm Kelly. I'm a senior in computer science, and I guess I've seen like VR over like the past few years, and I've never really like, had a chance to get to do it like myself.
Hi, I'm Henry. I'm a sophomore in computer science. I'm really interested in VR because like it kind of transforms how you see like the world. So like all the YouTube videos I've seen in VR, you can see that's like the future.
I'm Nisha. I'm a junior in Nets, and I was talking about VR. Just like it's interesting to think about how we're like blurring the line further between our digital lives and our like physical lives. So before I can really think about that, just like actually making things, tools available seems like an important step.
I'm Jason. I'm a junior in computer science. I actually played with HTC Vive and Samsung headset before, and I like the experience and I want to learn how to go on it. Also, just FYI, at the King of Prussia, in the Microsoft store, there is a VR set that you can try out.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm a junior in computer science, and I'm really interested in VR for data viz stuff, but also just I have Vive, it's fun to play with, and it'll be good to learn how to make stuff with it.
Awesome. Well, nice to meet all of you, for those I don't know, and welcome. So kind of in this my goal in asking those questions was to kind of hear what platforms were mentioned and what wasn't, and kind of transition that into talking about what's out there right now. As I said before, like everyone knows VR is really bleeding edge. No big company has mastered it. No one really knows what the application is because it hasn't been found yet. So I put up a sampling of what's out there. This is, you'll notice there's no Samsung. I'm not biased. It just didn't fit on the slide. So, but yeah, so we have a couple different technologies, and actually I think everything on this slide we have except for the Daydream at Penn right now. So as a part of this class, you will all be able to use headsets that we provide you. There's Oculuses, there's Vives, we have a couple cardboards, and we're going to essentially try to get through everything here. I am talking to people at Google to get us some access to Daydream. If you can help me, let me know. Always down to get more technology. But the main things we'll be focusing on will be, you'll be using Oculuses for the first project in Three.js and Vives for the second. So those are kind of the two competing mainstream, fully kind of visually developed pieces of software, hardware. The cardboard and other things rely on your phones, and because we can't expect everyone here to have a 7-inch like Pixel phone that costs like $900, we're not asking you to use cardboards. But yeah, so hopefully we can get through as much tech as possible. For those who haven't heard of React VR, that's like the bleeding edge. If you're at Facebook, I'm sure you've heard about this. It's a layer on top of Three.js that kind of brings the React and Redux like componentized architecture of websites to VR. So that's a super exciting prospect. Kind of use the same reusable components that Angular, React, and those other web frameworks have used. I'm hoping we can explore that a little bit. So yeah, this is kind of just what's out there. So I don't want to sit in front of you and lecture for too long about boring course stuff. I just want to check before we move on, does anybody have any questions about the structure of the course? Is everyone on Canvas? That's an important question. If you didn't get an invite to Canvas, please talk to me after class because that means you're not registered, and if you're not registered, we gotta fix that. So, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna take a little field trip. We're gonna all go down to the SIG Lab where Trung and I set up a bunch of demos, and what we're gonna do is hopefully go through each demo and dissect the technology and the art and the assets behind what each one is doing. So why don't you guys pack up your things? Yeah.
So when can our cards work?
Okay, eager. Your cards will work. We're going to go down to the lab right now. The SIG Lab manager's name is Kari. Just let her take a photo of it. Tell it we'll handle it for you today. And then she'll process it. And yeah.
How are you going to go to demos, or are you going to present them up on